Hello, 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 hello. Yeah. Ooh, love the music. Oh, yeah. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to give people just a minute to come on into the room. If you're here, say hello in the chat. We'd love to get your comments, your input for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh. 30 seconds more and we'll get started. I love music. Any of you that know me. All right, I'm going to stop that. That's some live jazz was not live. It was recorded live. African jazz music. It was really cool. So, hey, welcome everybody. Happy day. So excited to be here on day two of the 7-day Kwanzaa for Life Challenge. How do we take the principles and practices and the mindset of Kwanzaa and apply it to our lives and make it even better? We want to finish strong, finish 2022 strong, and to start 2023 ready with principles and ideas and guidelines for how we will behave going forward that will set us up to win. That's what this is all about. I'm so excited that you are here. We're going to jump right in because I want to honor your time for sure. It'll be brief, but I think meaningful and impactful. And we want you to really embrace the ideas that we're talking about. Again, I want to just bring you up to date. Some of you were not here yesterday. I know a few of you referenced that you will be here today. So I want to make sure I kind of briefly bring you up to date. And it also is a good refresher for those of us that were here yesterday. Yesterday, the first principle of Kwanzaa is umoja. That's unity. And it was about really pulling the community, the unity in the community. That's what it's all about. And the community could be considered your immediate family, your community, your church, your workplace, any group of people, that community. It's about really unifying that. Now, when Kwanzaa was originally created, it really was thinking about the African American community and in particular. But again, what we talked about yesterday, you don't have to be African American to celebrate the principles and practices. They apply to everyone. They are universal. So we want to really bridge the gap and become a cohesive group as much as possible. We want to have our individuality, but in general, be able to move in the same direction. Hey, Renata Joy, glad to have you here. The objective yesterday really was to maintain that unity in the family, in the community, as I mentioned, and in the nation. We have dealt with lots of division over the last years, and in particular, I guess, for over a lifetime, but in particular, so we want to do what we can on our part. The key is to help others feel acknowledged. I gave you specific things that you can do to help people become more of a cohesive unit. There are practical things you can do. And part of that is really helping all of the individual components of people to feel acknowledged and seen, valued part of the community. And how do you do that? One is to build trust. How do you build trust? By talking to people, listening to people, particularly those that are different than yourself, to listen more and talk less. We talked about that a good bit yesterday. To be open to other people's opinions and views. It doesn't mean you have to buy into it or suddenly become that, but to be open to it, to expand your mind, your thinking capacity. And you may learn something, what a concept, but more importantly, people just want to be heard, not necessarily followed always, but if you can do that, they feel like they are valued as part of that group. And you can use stories to connect with people. Just be vulnerable in times when appropriate. All of that contributes to building a sense of unity, of cohesiveness. And I gave an assignment yesterday. I meant to give you an assignment yesterday. I didn't actually. And I want you to identify a person or group of people, be it your family, be it your workplace, be it your church, be it a PTA or whatever the group might be, that you want to reach out to help build more of a cohesive group or be a part of making it more unified? The things you can do, what efforts can you make? Maybe it's as simple as suggesting to have a Zoom call with your family once a month. That's something our family has done recently, which we hadn't done before. And it's really drawing us together to unify us as a family. So maybe it's as simple as that. So do whatever you might think fits you, but come up with something. That's what I want you to apply the information that we're talking about on a day-to-day basis. And it's not just information. I want to give you one more thing that I didn't share with you yesterday. It's so cool. As I was preparing for this, I was inspired for a moment, and I wrote a poem about unity, and I didn't share it yesterday. So I'm going to wrap up my review of yesterday with this poem. And it's titled, We Are One. We are one, Umoja. We are one, yes, we are one, even when we are apart. Humanity binds us. It's ingrained in our heart. We must not fight and then quickly cut and run. Forgiveness is required for healing. Remember, we are one. Martin Luther King said, we are in a network of inescapable mutuality. A single garment of destiny. What affects you, my friend, also affects me. When you hurt, so do I. I may not always show it, but deep inside I cry. Kwanzaa calls for umoja, or unity, a guiding principle for all of us to be. It's a connection that empowers and creates essential community. We can change the world for sure. All divisions overcome. With love, listening, and God's help, let's reunite as one. Woohoo! Okay. I liked it. If you liked it, give me thumbs up or some kind of feedback or comment. But in any event, we do want to just work on what we can to bring our lives and our community together. That was unity yesterday. So we also talked about the candles yesterday, and it's time for us to get into that. We discussed different symbols. There's 7 candles and there's 7 symbols, and we're going to talk about the symbols a little bit more today. We talked about the different colors of the candle, and if you need the details, look at yesterday to get an update of the whole thing. I won't go back through that all right now, but one of the things we did just talk about as far as the symbols is 2 of them. We discussed the Kanara. The Kanara is the candle holder, and there's like a menorah that's from the Jewish community. And then, I'm not sure I'm gonna say this right, the 7 candles has a name, Mishuma Saba. I'm not sure I said it correctly, but those 7 candles are symbols, Kwanzaa symbols that we talk about. And we did light the center candle yesterday, the black one, which represents people. And today we're going to move to the next one. But before we do that, there's another symbol that we want to talk about today, which I think is really cool. And that is, it's called Mikika, which is a placemat. A placemat. And it could be any kind of placemat. I love these. This is one of my favorites. It's a little animal print. I'm an animal person. Or this is more just generic, but it's got a nice weave. I don't know if you can see that with the lights. Or it could be anything. It could be a firm placemat, but fundamentally they use this in a display for Kwanzaa. You usually lay it there and you will put fruit on it or vegetables on it. I have a little eggplant here. What's really popular, and I mentioned this yesterday, is corn, like ears of corn, but I don't have ears of corn, so I have a can of corn. But the bottom line is to have the display of the placemat. And what does that mean, though? Let's give you some meaning behind that, because everything has meaning. It's a symbol of a placemat. It's like it lays on top of the previous foundation, and you put another placemat on top of that. And that's what we do with our lives. We build on top of what yesterday was for tomorrow. Our past mistakes, I look at it as stepping stones. So you just kind of build on that. And as we talk about the principle for today, I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to do the greeting so that you'll know how to respond to the official greeting. Today's principle number 2, is Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia, which stands for self-determination. Self-determination. So as you remember yesterday, we talked about if someone greets you and say, Habaragari, Organi, excuse me, Habaragani, that's they asking, what's the news? And your response is the principle for today. So I'm going to say Habaragani, and you say either Kujichagulia or self-determination, whichever is easier for you. All right, let's do it. Habaragani. You can type it up or say it to yourself or to your computer. The bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, we want to be mindful of these different principles. So let's talk about self-determination. I love this one. Fundamentally, what it means is that we want to define ourselves, to name ourselves, to create for ourselves, and to speak for ourselves. Self-determination, define ourselves, name ourselves, to create for ourselves, and to speak for ourselves. It's one of the characteristics that's needed to be successful in anything, particularly when things are difficult or perhaps unfair. It's not yielding to external factors. It's an identity issue. It's about what you need to do to press past any difficulty, challenges. You need that self-determination, that understanding of who you are, to stand up, to move forward, to define who you are in the midst of the circumstances. Some of you know that I've written recently, updated one of my best-selling books, which is called Dare to Succeed. And I subtitled it Dare to Succeed Despite the Odds. And that's really reflective of what the determination, self-determination is. No matter what the odds are, we define who we are. We define how we portray ourselves, how we speak about ourselves, no matter what external factors may be or forces that may be coming against us. It's about identifying identity and self-confidence. It is the foundation to self-determination. And so despite what people say at work, in the community, in the newspaper, sometimes you don't get favorable coverage or whatever it might be. But again, when we come from the inside out, that's what this principle is really all about. It's about really over the years, sometimes we lose our sense of self. We become associated with the identity of being a mom or being a wife or being a caretaker of the parent. And those are all important identities. They are really important and vital in our lifespan. But we never want to lose sight of self-determination, self-identity. Who are you? What did God put in you to bring forth to the universe, to bring forth to our world? Being clear of what that is really important. And I love the idea of being able to tap into your personal abilities and gifts and talents, not forgetting or forsaking those, but really using those and owning those and walking in those. All of those are a reflection of self-determination. So what I want you to do, we're going to do a very brief thing. I'm going to light the candles. Remember, we started with the black yesterday, which is representative of the people. But today, we're going to go to the next candle. Okay. I actually don't remember. Is it red? All right. So you light your candles, you say your affirmations, and what I want you to do is, as a takeaway from today, is I got to do something about that smoke. It's pretty deep. Is to really determine, what does winning look like? What does self-determination look like for you in 2023? We can look at our lives and be happy about what we've done. And I know Rihanna, one of my dear friends, my new friend, and I just adore her. And she has been a great example of how you define who you are in the workplace, in the marketplace, of deciding to do a project that will distinguish you as who you are, what's in you, what you want to contribute to the world. What is that for you? How do you determine that? And what do you have to do to make that a reality? So I want you to think about, what does it look like in 2023 as we approach the new year? How would self-determination be manifested in your life? What does it look like? And then the next step is, once you identify what that is, what are the first 3 steps to moving toward that goal, that vision of what self-determination looks like in your life? So I want you to take the time to do that. One of the things I will provide starting tomorrow as I just jumped in. And I want to say this little sidebar before I give you even that last little bit. I decided relatively last minute, that I really wanted to contribute to this Kwanzaa experience. I mentioned yesterday how our dear friends, the Browns, did a major celebration of it, and it's just so meaningful. And I wanted to be able to speak some life into people. And so I didn't have a long runway to put everything in place like I'd love to have, but I am, as I go along, self-determination, I'm determined to provide you with some additional value. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'll provide you with a little handout, some things you can check off so you can make sure you're really tracking with the information that we are providing today and throughout the rest of the week. So today, self-determination, yesterday, unity, and tomorrow, you have to come tomorrow to find out what it is. Listen, I'm so glad that you are here. I'm glad that you have taken the time to learn a few things. What I want to remind you is you can determine who you are. You define you. You define, name yourself, create yourself, speak for yourselves, never allowing external factors to determine who you are. It's about identity. It's about owning that. It's about walking in it, in your power and authority, about doing what God has put in you and making it happen. Identify what that looks like for you in 2023. And then what are the first 3 steps you need to take in order to manifest that in your life? I'm Celeste Johnson. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up today. Please come tomorrow. Tomorrow's a really exciting day. I have more for you and you're going to love it. Have a great day. Thanks for coming. I'll talk to you again soon. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.